Do you know what even gets me going?
Oh my God, if you say he's loaded the dishwasher.
We're back with some familiar faces.
You find it sexy, I call it bare minimum.
And some fresh opinions into the mix.
They've got videos for educational purposes, blood, guts, gore, whatever you want.
It makes me feel sick. I don't want to see it all, but I like the baby.
Will they find a common ground?
Nobody sits there and tells you before you have a baby that your relationship is going to suffer enormously.
Or just more drama?
That was pretty heated, guys.
Don't get me twisted.
Posting your birth online is just wrong.
Yeah. I mean, you know me, I'm a bit of a pro. There's no way I'm going to post that online, is there?
I'm cool with it. I mean, does anyone else want to take it?
Go for it. Do you mean like and everything?
No, I don't think you can do that. You can't do that. That would get taken down.
So I done a C-section video where I didn't show him cutting, but I showed the baby coming out and hugging the baby. Is that posting your birth?
Yeah.
Well, that is, but I weren't thinking of it like that. I think that's all right.
I mean, it is a bit intrusive, isn't it? It's like the most sacred moment in anyone's life. I don't know. Win me over.
I don't think anyone needs to see.
No one needs to see a nice crowning.
That.
I mean, I've put my birth online. Not the whole thing. Like the moment I met my daughter for the first time and I picked her up, I put that online. Yeah. And I thought it was a nice video. I didn't.
You couldn't see like your flower.
No.
Though.
Oh God, no, couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very tastefully done.
Yeah.
No, I don't mind that.
So yeah, I mean, obviously when my children were born, I posted, pictures of them online, like, they're here, the cute little picture, the setup. Obviously, I'd love doing that, didn't I? Matching outfits, bows, the lighting was right, I was prepped. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so I just think sometimes I've seen them, when they're in the birthing pools.
Yeah.
And even though it's blurred and you see all the placenta and the blood and all that coming out, it makes me feel sick. I don't want to see it all. I know
that doesn't make me feel sick.
I just don't like it, all the blood. I think that's gory, but I like the baby. Like, I'm obsessed with babies. I don't need to see...
You don't want to see the mess?
I don't want to see all the mess, and I don't know, I do think it's a really personal moment for you and your partner.
Yeah.
And I just think, we share so much of our everyday lives online. Everybody does, it's just part of life.
Yeah.
It's getting now you're sharing the birth of them,
I get it, I totally get it. I think as well, if you're squeamish, then it's definitely not something you want to see.
Yeah, I definitely am squeamish.
So for me, I'm not squeamish at all. I work in the body, so when I was pregnant and I was kind of gearing up to kind of get my head in the right headspace for childbirth, because my C-section was an emergency, it wasn't planned, I found those videos really interesting, educational, thought-provoking, and actually really exciting.
Mum posted a video of me coming into the world, so I can now see myself coming out of my mum's and everyone else has seen that. I don't know how I feel about everyone seeing that. It's not about it being a it's like it's a private moment.
But you could say that about a birthday party. You could say that about...
No, it's not the same. You're not showing your nunny, are you?
I think it's more appropriate.
Birthday party. I've never heard anything like it.
Life-changing moment than it is to
I'm talking about a video of a baby coming out, and you've put that online. Why am I standing like this? I'm ready to fight.
So what about on YouTube, the medical channels, and they've got videos for educational purposes, close-up videos of all sorts of medical procedures, blood, guts, gore, whatever you want.
That's okay.
Why is that okay?
Because I think if you're doing it on Instagram, it's for likes and for clicks.
And you're a midwife, you're educating people, you're educating. And I'm going to be brutally honest, so if you...
But what if she wanted to put yours on?
No, she ain't putting mine on. Obviously, you're a midwife. That's amazing, and I do think we should be able to. If you want to watch a birth, you should absolutely be able to see that and have it done and document everything. But if you are watching me or Jane or any of us here, who are not midwives, right? Let's have it right, or in the health profession, unless I'm wrong and you do. Well, you maybe are as well. Yeah. So maybe we can exclude you because you do about the body and the thing. But any of us, mummy influencers.
Well, I posted it, Jem. You think it's wrong? I was so scared going into the C-section, right? Because my last two C-sections were emergency. So I wanted to do this video to just show people how different it is. So I was just I was really calm. I was getting my injection. I had nice music playing in the background. I filmed me and my partner putting our robes on, and then her getting pulled out, and then just me seeing the baby and smiling. That it was just.
We're not talking about that. That I completely love, and I would love to watch that and see it.
Yeah.
The question was about birth. I'm not seeing the baby being lifted up. I'm not seeing any of those things. Yeah. I'm talking about when an influencer that isn't a midwife, any of that thing, is posting and they're blurring the vagina and you see the baby coming out.
Yeah, that's too much.
I think personally that's a little bit too much. That was it. I think that's too much. That's what I was talking about.
That sounds like a you problem. I think you're okay as long as it's fairly sanitised.
Yeah.
But as soon as it becomes real, all of a sudden you're like, absolutely
No, I don't want to see that.
No, it's not about that for me.
It's not about that. I don't want to see that. Legs open.
Yeah, but you just said it was
Bronte
blurred.
and Brody
you
coming
just said
out
it was
of it.
blurred out, so you can't really see anything.
I think there's
You do know.
Can I just say, I think it is very much who can handle what. Like, I know people who will faint at the sight of blood. I, again, couldn't give a whatever.
Oh,
I think for me, watching a childbirth, and again, I do work in the body, it was educational and even motivational, magical, beautiful. I loved it. However, I can totally understand how someone else would watch it and be like, pass the bucket. I do think it's just, it is a you thing.
It's just, I wouldn't.
Fair, and that's fine.
But I wouldn't. But I'm really happy to see other people's.
That was pretty heated, guys.
Pretty heated.
Don't get me twisted.
Get me
I don't want to be misunderstood. It's just not for me. I don't want the world to see that moment, and it's just not for me.
Stay-at-home dads are sexy.
It's grinding my gears. Can I take it?
Oh, don't tell me it's cat, guys.
Hi.
I'm scared.
Don't be scared.
I love you
Go
too.
on then. Hit me with your why men doing their job as a father is sexy.
No, I'm talking about my experience. I just find it sexy. I just find a man being a present, an amazing father so sexy. Like, my fiance now is at home with the kids, and I'm like, homeboy's gonna get it when I go home.
So I just want to be clear. Your bar is low. So what you're saying is, a man who actually does his job as a dad is really sexy.
So sexy.
Okay. So rare. It's a low bar. We've got to hold men to a slightly higher standard than, will you look after my children while I work?
Not my children, our children.
I don't want him there all the time.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? But like when he's doing...
Hang on, but... Okay, so why don't you want him there all the time?
No,
what if he
because
was a stay-at-home?
we both got
right.
things
But
going
what
on.
if he was a stay-at-home dad and didn't work?
I'd find it sexy.
My husband's a stand-up.
I know, your husband's sexy though, not because he's a stay-at-home dad, 'cause he's
And
a
my
good-looking
fiance's
lad.
sexy, cat.
Can I say why I find it sexy?
Yeah.
Because I think so many men, and maybe this is the low bar that I keep going for, don't actually think that they should take on their responsibility as a parent, let alone the lion's share, viscerally. I think it's just in them. They just think it is the woman's job. What I find very sexy is that what it shows is that there's a real lack of male ego, and that someone is more than happy to say, okay, fine, you're the bigger breadwinner, I'll stay at home with the kids, and that is sexy.
Hit the nail on the head.
Thing. I like
Hit the nail on the head.
The ego thing is right. You're not wrong. For me, it's the other way around. I just find it deeply unsexy if there is a man who is absolutely unwilling to do that stuff. Like, it is not sexy that he will. That's just an expectation. It is really unsexy if they're like, I'm too man for this. I think we're fetishizing this kind of man who happens to just step up and be a good dad.
Yeah, no,
How many times have we said, do you find a stay-at-home mum sexy?
True.
Like, never. Nobody ever says that.
It's so expected of a mum to just
Right, but
be
women
that
are
person.
penalised for it. It's not, they're not supporting feminism, they're not living up to their potential, they're supporting the patriarchy. If they stay at home and they're stay-at-home mums, they should be doing more, and they don't want more from their life. But then a man happens to not even be a stay-at-home dad, but you're like, oh, he's just going to look after the kids while I'm at work. We're like, he's so sexy. No.
So it makes me love and appreciate him more, which equals sexiness, which equals homeboy's gonna get it.
I know, but what I'm saying is your bar should be higher.
I've grown up literally without a dad, like without a father figure. So seeing a dad be a dad to me is just like everything.
And I
Even
totally
we were
get
speaking
that.
about when you're in the park and you see a guy with the kids. And I know it shouldn't be like, oh, look at
No,
him
it really
like
shouldn't.
being an amazing dad.
No, he's being a dad.
I know, but maybe
what
it's
I'm
my
saying-
perspective.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's the sad thing. I'm not like pitying you in any way, shape, or form. That's not what I'm saying. But it's like I do think, in general, our expectations as a generation of women are so low for men. It blows my mind that we give men this
But I
pass.
think it's almost the other way around, because Adam's a stay-at-home dad and people will go, oh my God, he's a stay-at-home dad. Does he not work? But you wouldn't say that to a woman. So actually, I think that men are more penalised for being stay-at-home dads. If your partner's earning more than the other partner and it works for your family, then why is it not right? And he's an amazing
I'm not
stay-at-home
saying
dad.
it's not right. We cannot just keep going, well done for looking after the children.
But I do think it's sexy. If you've got a man that's a provider, that looks after your children, that looks after you, that looks after the house, that isn't a male chauvinist that will get the iron out, that he is manly enough to be like, yeah, my wife works, she does really well, and I'm happy to do all the jobs around the house. Like, I'm not being, do you get what I mean?
My partner's a full-time stay-at-home dad, but like it's like 50-50.
Well,
but I'm saying the
mean,
days that he's with them, it's really sexy.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I mean, listen, if that's what floats your boat, like, that's fine. I just sort of expect a bit more.
Oh my God, did you know what even gets me going?
Oh my God, if you say it's loaded the dishwasher.
Yeah, but is it clean?
Clean. Listen,
I'm all for a little bit of chore play. Like, I do get that.
I mean, I do get the whole chore play thing.
So do I.
I do get it. But
When my husband loads the dishwasher, I'm like, oh my God, is he going to hoover next? I'm taking my clothes off.
But I know, but also, like, they should be doing it anyway. But
they
it is,
should,
but it's when they do it and they.
It's when they get the Dyson out.
Louise, I'm all over it like a rash.
Is this why men are so horny all the time? Because they see us do everything.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Looking like
the sexy stay-at-home mum.
Yeah. I get the chore play, like, but it isn't because he's done the dishwasher that is like, okay, now you can have a. It's more like it's a thinking of somebody. So I get that.
Yeah.
That's like, it's not like his reward. Listen, at the end of the day, you find it sexy. I call it bare minimum.
I just think that stay-at-home dads are sexy, but I also think stay-at-home mums are sexy as well.
All boys' schools mess with boys' relationships with women and their views on the roles of women.
Oh, well, absolutely me. And I stand by it.
You don't agree with single-sex schools?
No, especially for men, especially for boys.
Girls do better, boys don't.
Academically or socially?
Academically.
Yeah, because socially they don't.
Yeah, I've heard they rebel.
It's a hard one to argue.
But she might sway us.
Oh my God, so I'm worried about this because my eldest is going to go to an all-boys school in like a year and a half.
Yeah.
And I remember like flirting with boys in science lessons when everyone goes at each other with a Bunsen burner.
I went to an all-girls school.
Did you?
Secondary school, and I do think it made me put men on this pedestal of like, oh my God, it's a man. Whenever I did see a man, I would almost like think, I was just like,
It does worry me though, because like it could potentially affect, because they'll do the same thing when they see a female and just want to like get on her, won't they, as a teenager? But seriously, that's what boys do.
Or just think that they're like second-class rate gender.
Oh God.
Which is what we have anyway.
I need to review the school situation if that's what people are saying.
So you don't think that all boys' schools are good for boys?
No.
Okay.
But you don't disagree, right? Although I'm interested to hear your point about single-sex girls' schools.
Yeah, so I mean, none of my children have gone to any single-sex schools. My mum did go to an all-girls school. Right. My stepdaughter, actually, I think she went to an all-girls school when she was little. I know that girls do better in single-sex schools.
Academically?
From what I've read, research-wise. I mean, I'm not an expert on any of this. Yeah. But boys don't. Boys actually do better academically in mixed environments.
So I went to mixed schools, and my dad went to an all-boys school. My brother, for a period, when we first moved to London, went to an all-boys school, and my ex-husband, who's now, one of my best friends, went to an all-boys school. And every single one of them, we're talking kind of 3 generations and also 3 different kind of socioeconomic backgrounds. Every single one of them said that it gave them very kind of misguided archetypal roles about men and women. Very much women are either like your caretaker, your mother, because that's what they had when they went home. They had their mother, they saw their mother. Or when they entered puberty and then they, started having more kind of sexual thoughts and feelings, women were sex objects. My dad and my ex-husband struggled their whole lives to have female friends until much later adulthood. My brother, who then transferred from an all-boys school to a mixed school, now is very kind of socially adapted in terms of gender roles and has a wealth of female friends.
But what about the curriculum at the school? I mean, if this is the case, and obviously that's their lived experience, what were they being taught at school in terms of like relationships, women, roles?
I don't think they don't, especially back then. I mean, now it might all be different, but they don't teach that kind of thing at school. What I find interesting is that we talk about academia versus, I guess, social intelligence versus academic intelligence, which to me both are equally important. If anything, if I had to veer on one side, I'd say social intelligence is probably more important than academia.
I agree.
I went to an all-girls school and it was really clear when I had my kids there was no way I was going to send them to a single-sex school. I think all-girls school, like you say, might academically be better for us, but it really hampered my confidence in the real world when there were boys around.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And the other way with boys' schools, I can totally see, because it's not really about what you teach, it's about the implicit stuff that goes on. It's about that kind of seminal stuff that comes in and that's just fed in. If there's no body of the other sex, there's no checks and balances, right? And so if you're hanging out with girls your age, you can see that they're not just mothers and sex objects and this, that and the other. They're into football, whatever, or cricket,
interesting people.
They're interesting people who have senses of humour and stuff like that, you know. Whereas if they're not there, then of course that kind of implied sort of misogyny is left to kind of thrive.
And it's a shame because I think, I'm not speaking for all parents, but I'm sure the majority of parents who send their children to single-sex schools is purely for academic reasons, isn't it? There isn't really any other reason why.
And I do think
but it'd be interesting to have to maybe do, you know, for someone to do some research and see the social implications.
I'm sure there's loads out there, we just haven't looked at it.
Not up-to-date research. I'm not talking about, you know, from the 70s and 80s, but
I do think there's also an argument to be said that all children and humans are different and they need different, that you need to cater to different skills. So I do think, let's just say, if I was super academic, maybe it would be unfair to tell my parents they were wrong for sending me to a school where I was going to excel academically.
Well, you know what? It actually seems like we probably just all agree on this one, so I might as well come and join you all.
I actually never really paid much thought to all-girls schools, so I thought Kat's input was brilliant.
Couples should get therapy before they get married, before they have kids, and after they have kids.
That is me, 100%.
God, that's a bit much.
Who can afford that?
That's
I'm
me.
going to take the seat. Is that all right?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, I'm going to start with acknowledging that is a very privileged viewpoint. Therapy is expensive. But that being said, having been to the brink of divorce and brought it back, I wish that I'd have had that therapy before I got married. Because I was so young, well, I wasn't that young, I was like 30, but like if you've not done it before, you sort of think, this is what a marriage looks like, and it's sexy and it's hot, and he can read your mind, and he should just know all these things, and, you know, all the rest of it, and it's all nonsense. Like, I don't know about you, I didn't grow up in a family where we were taught to communicate properly. Like, my mum was fluent in door slamming and sighing and I'm fining, and she just sort of relied on telepathy as a viable form of communication, and it isn't, but that's what I learned. And the therapy really helped me understand exactly how important communication is. We have friends who got married in the Catholic Church. Now, this is not by any means any kind of endorsement for the Catholic Church, but, I mean, whatever floats your boat. But they have a thing where you go to your priest before you get married and you do essentially therapy. And it isn't necessarily religious, it is about marriage and relationships and all of that stuff. And they said it was the most helpful thing that they had.
Communication is key. You don't necessarily need to see a counsellor. You can speak to a friend or you can speak to your partner. You absolutely should be communicating in all walks of life, whether that's marriage, friends, family, and everything that you do.
And then also babies. Nobody sits there and tells you before you have a baby that your relationship is going to suffer enormously. Inevitably, having a baby for the first time is going to take its toll. It's going to change the dynamic hugely.
I wish that we did that before we had kids. And then having kids just to like get on the same page.
Yeah, I totally agree with
My
that.
dad always used to say like relationships are like that. You're always going to have the peaks and the troughs, but you need to always try and get that middle line.
Totally agree. It's nice to know that you are on the same page with parenting, with everything.
Yeah.
And I guess my upbringing was different to my husband's upbringing, and it would have been helpful to have known that before we decided to have our own kids.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've figured out in my own therapy.
But when I've said in the past we should have couples therapy, not because I think there's a problem, but I think it would just be helpful to just keep, like you say, keep on the same
healthy.
page.
It's basically the gym for your mind.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. I think it should be standard practice.
Yeah.
Preparing for this next step in your life, I think it's a really good idea. Because so many people will turn back in retrospect and be like, I didn't realise that it would, you know, that my life would change like this.
I'll be honest with you, I've been in therapy on and off my whole life because I've got GAD, and sometimes therapy helps, sometimes it doesn't do anything, sometimes it can hinder. My ex and I went to a lot of couples therapy, and it was absolutely an attempt and kind of treading water to the inevitable, which, you know, I realise now we were always going to break apart.
What if you'd done that therapy before?
So one of our therapists, who's a very well-known, brilliant therapist, said that a lot of his American clients come to him before they get married, or even before they're in a serious relationship. I'll be honest with you, I think therapy is fantastic for some people sometimes. I also think it's massively overrated as a tool for everybody all the time. And I also think that sometimes a relationship isn't, no matter how much therapy you throw at it, a relationship isn't going to work because it was never going to work. So I just think it's kind of like presumptuous to say therapy would fix it, and I don't see therapy.
I get
that
it, and
way.
I think you're absolutely right. I don't think it necessarily has to be formal therapy.
Okay.
But I do think that we do enter into marriage with blinkers on. I don't think we're fully prepared. I think there is a real expectation and rose-tinted glasses.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry, you've not even said a word yet.
I was just listening to you. I was in therapy. Wasn't I?
Gemma's just taken a seat.
You actually like a therapist, just sat there not talking.
I know. I was being therapeutic for you. I thought that's what you wanted.
I feel a lot better for it.
A lot of what you said, I do agree with, but I don't think anyone should be made to do anything. So the fact of, I didn't like the terminology of we should be made to go to therapy before we get married, before we have a baby thing. I also think that you need to be able to have that communication with your partner without having to go to a therapist
100%.
for it. I think that we should be able to talk to each other. I know for me that it was really important that I'm not interested in not having the same hobbies and things like that, and you can have different things, but I think your core values need to be the same. Where you want to live, do you want to get married, how many children do you want, things that can make and break a relationship. I definitely think you should be discussing that between yourselves. I don't necessarily think you need a therapist to be doing that.
We don't come into a relationship, into a marriage, if it's your first one especially, knowing what to do because we've never done it before. We've never had to live with...
I'd already done it once.
Right, but the first one... But we've never had to live with somebody on that level. We've never had to make those kind of accommodations and share your life with somebody in that way. And so we're not given the tools.
That's ridiculous. Honestly, who's got the time to do all that? I just feel like when you first get together, you need to figure each other out and you need to have communication. I don't think you should go to therapy. At this point, you may as well go to therapy before you take a what the hell?